Okay, Bunisha comes from the Swahili word buni, which translates to innovate. We are an e-business platform that has come up with a web-based application to simplify the day-to-day challenges that individuals and organizations face. So we are here to innovate. We are here giving you a new product that will make your tendering process very simple from A to Z. So our story is that our founder was an aspiring tenderpreneur, just like the rest of you. He kept on tendering and actually failed so many times. He actually failed 87 times and he kept getting regret letters. And on the 88th time, he won his first tender. And this led him to develop this particular product because it was such a difficult process for him. Being in the IT sector, he thought and said, how do I come up with a product that is actually going to enable people in the tendering market, make their lives easier, be able to actually make winning bids and make the pre-qualification system easier as well. This is where the story of Bunisha started from. Our mission is to provide an online platform for all business opportunities, and our vision is to automate all business processes with click. Our milestones in the last 3 years have been as follows. We have been able to actually get for all our customers and all tenderpreneurs customized notifications. What this product is that this is a product that can be able to, you can get notifications every day through SMSs, through emails, and this will be able to update you on the tenders that are there. If you're in the travel industry, you'll be able to get notifications for the travel market. If you're in the building and construction industry, you'll be able to get all the tenders that are there. Should you want tenders from Kura, you'll be able to get notifications specifically for that on a day-to-day basis, on text message and on email. We also have the digital bid compilation, which we will talk to you about, the digital bid bonds, which you can get on our system, and the digital pre-qualification, which we will be able to actually talk about today. Alan? So our team comprises of youthful, dynamic, dedicated, and passionate individuals who are very instrumental in developing the status and the profile of the company as a reputable IT company. This is what our team looks like. We are almost a team of 80 people right now, here to meet all your needs from pre-qualifications to tenders to bid compilation. So we are just a phone call away, and our offices are at the heart of Nairobi's Upper Hill area. We are located on the first floor of Josem Trust House along Masaba Road, off Bunyala Road. So whenever you're just driving into Upper Hill, ours is the first building, as you can see. And we have a very huge signpost in blue, as you can see. So we are very easy to find. You can drop into our offices for any further clarifications. So I'm going to talk about our digital platform, the reason as to why we are here today, and specifically pre-qualifications. What is the current process for pre-qualifications? The current process is actually a manual process where the first step is you as the bidder purchase a newspaper. The second step is going through the newspaper. It's a very archaic system. So you go through the newspaper, you find the tender notices which are there and the pre-qualification. So you have to go and cut them out or send somebody to cut for you from your office. The third process is visiting the procuring entity's website to source for the document and download it. The fourth step is printing the pre-qualification document. The fifth step is filling in the document, and I think that's normally the hardest part. The sixth step is compiling the document. And as you note, the document is normally, these documents are normally very huge, depending on the sector that you're in. So very tedious, a lot of paperwork. And then lastly, you preview the document to look at the errors that could be there. You know, you have to go through every single error. The last step would be adding the missing document, because normally you find that there's one or two things missing. You have not photocopied this, you have missed out on that. So you have to add the missing documents. The ninth step would be stamping and signing, which is the initialization step. Very tedious, you have to stamp everything. And then finally is binding the document. Lastly, you call a rider or your messenger to submit the document to the procuring entity. So this would be our process. As you've seen, the previous process was an 11-step process. Let's now move to Bunisha's digital process. So the first step would be to visit our website to get pre-qualification notice, which have documents which are already attached for you. So it's a simpler process, no need for the newspaper, no need for cutting anything or buying anything. It's actually a free process for you. The second step would be applying for the identified pre-qualifications from our website. The third step is the digital evaluation, which Alan will be able to actually demonstrate and show you how that should be. Very simple process. The fourth step would be printing the document. If at all you need to submit it in a printed format. If not, you can actually submit the document as is digitally. So the key benefits for the particular process, the Bunisha process, would be you're able to compile multiple pre-qualifications at a go, because it's actually a system that you can do 5 or even 10 documents at once, which is so beautiful. It is accessible from anywhere at any time. You can serialize the document without having to do the stamp by stamp process that you were doing before. And then the system is actually able to create for you a table of content. So you can see it's very easy to use. Okay, the next step would be, Alan. This is what the user onboarding, this is what your onboarding process would be. You as the end user, what would you need to do? This is what our process looks like. You can do the self-onboarding. You can visit our website and create an account by yourself. So it's a very simple process. We will walk you through this just after this. We can also have the assisted onboarding, where one of our staff will help you in the entire process at an additional cost. This is for anybody who feels like they don't have the capability to actually be able to onboard themselves. We'll charge you a very small fee. We'll give you somebody who can walk you through the process, but the end game should be that you're able to actually control this process on your own. So this is the process, the Bunisha way. And at this juncture, I just like to quickly move into the demonstration so that we can actually show you what the product looks like and what it can be able to do for you as a business and you as a tenderpreneur. So over to you, Alan, to just take us through the actual process.
Thank you so much for that, Susan. It was a wonderful introduction to the company. So I think I'll just take over from there and walk us through the presentation, during which now I can also maybe interject and you can give what I've missed. So let me start from there. So I'm hoping my screen is visible to all of us. So from our platform, let me just go to the homepage so that we can see what a new user will be able to see, that even the participants immediately after this can be able to follow along with the same process. So we have we have the e-tender platform, as we were mentioning, and among which we have the products that are available on the platform, a few of which are like the customized notifications, the digital workspace that you can generate your invoices for free, and quotations and such. And then you can also do digital bid bonds online directly on our platform. So that will go hand in hand with the tendering platform. And then we also have what is our focus of today, which is the pre-qualifications. So I'll just take it from the top and assume that it's a new user. The person had just wanted to create a new account on Bunisha. So this is the process that we were talking about when we say self-onboarding. And self-onboarding will involve like just doing a simple sign up. Our account registration is entirely free, and just about anyone with a phone number can be able to create a Bunisha account. From there, they'll be able to onboard their company or be assisted to onboard a company so that they can now start enjoying the benefits of what you are going to demonstrate today. So you just fill in your name, your phone number, the email address you wish to be addressed with on the platform, and then you create a password for your account. Once you've done that, it's just as simple as using your number and your phone number and password to log in, which takes you directly to our workspace. But because the focus of today is the pre-qualification, so we'll just go to the navigation, which is another way of accessing the pre-qualifications. And then we can now see the daily updated listing of all the pre-qualifications. So these are sourced from multiple places, a few of which are like the newspapers. So we source them from multiple newspapers. We also do them from government procuring entities. So for example, Kiro Technical Institute website, we can go there and we source this notification so that for you as the final bidder, for you just to come on our platform, it has a document, it has everything that you need to start the bidding process. So once you identify something that you'd want to start bidding for, and you can also be able to filter depending on what category you want it to be. Do you want it to be in electrical engineering? Is it surveys? All that you can be able to do in this. So we'll just pick the first one for the purpose of demonstration. From here, we can be able to see like who exactly what categories are there for this particular one. So we have 40 categories on this Technical Institute. It's the pre-qualifications for the supplies of goods and services for the year 2021 to 2023. So from there, you scroll down and you're able to see all the categories available. So the categories, as usual, are broken down into goods, we have services, and then we have maybe a combination of both, and at times we even have consultancy. So all this can be filtered using this category, this filter over here. Or alternatively, if you're only interested in foodstuffs, you can just search foodstuffs, and the system will be able to show you what exactly we have under that is related to foodstuffs. So one of the key benefits of our platform is that you can compile multiple documents at a time. So instead of compiling one by one, you can just pick all the categories that you're interested in, and then you can be able to bid for them. So let's just demonstrate that, what we mean by that. So you'll say you want to apply for multiple. And then from here, you're able to say, I'm interested in the supply of food. Yes. I'm interested in the supply of textile material. Yes. And then let's look for maybe one service. And then we can say we are evaluation, we have printing services. I'm also interested in that. So this is what the system will be able to allow you to compile a document for. So from there, because I've already done the self-onboarding and my company is online, which is something that you can be assisted to do immediately after this, we have the breakdown of the entire process for pre-qualification compilation. So as most of you who are familiar with the process, you know that tender is broken down into multiple categories of chapters, some of which are the mandatory documents. You have the personnel involved in that project. You have, if you need equipment, they can be broken down into either logbooks and receipts. And then we have the experiences that your company has accrued, be them LPOs, LSOs, contract reports, and so on. And then we also have experience and financial documentation. That is what the tender is comprised of. So all those things you're able to do on the platform without even leaving, and you'll be able to see even a sample document that has been generated using the system. So for this particular demonstration, we'll just use all categories so that we're familiar with all of them. And so you just pick the documents, personnel, logbooks, receipts, experience, and financial. So this is what our documents will be comprised of. As you remember, we made the documents. We made the documents that we selected 3 categories that we are bidding for.
Do you have any challenges?
We go next to the steps where we're able to see those categories that we picked, and we can also review which ones they were. As you can remember, we did the delivery of foodstuffs reserved, and we also did the delivery of textile materials, which you can be able to either eliminate or add during this. So you can be able to have all kindly let's mute our speakers so that our microphones so that we can all be on the same place, kindly. Okay, so next we go to the step for picking the company. So once you're on Bunisha, you're able to add as many companies as you're in charge of as an individual or as a director to your account. Once these companies are on your account, whenever you want to compile a particular document, you can be able to freely choose which of those companies you wish to bid with that tender. So for example, for today, for this demonstration, despite having a number of companies, I choose to use the sample company limited for this demonstration, which can be maybe your main company or the company that you use for pre-qualifications in your case.
I can't hear you.
After that, we are able to go to the next step, which is the director's segment of it. Okay, so I'm hoping we're still on the same page now. Once we go to the next chapter, which is the directors, we can be able to see the directors of that particular company. So in this case, this would be like your company and the people who are the directors of which is indicated in the CR12 document. So we can choose what documents of the director's documents we want to include in this compilation. So do we want the ID of the director number 1 to be shown there? Do you want the performance-based contract certificate? You can have so many director documents that you can choose to include within that particular document that you're compiling on the system. So once you're comfortable with whatever is indicated over there, you go next to the next segment, which is the documents, the mandatory documents. So from this, we're able to add all the requirements as per that pre-qualification. So you'll read through the pre-qualification document and you see that maybe because it is reserved, it is either reserved for women, for the youth, or persons living with disability. So depending on what class of AGPO you are from, you can be able to easily add. So I'll just pick the youth one for this one. And then if the business permit, if you're from Eldoret, if you're from Goma, all that you can be able to pick from the system. So all this will be the requirements for this particular tender. And then now we go to the mandatory documents where we have the CR12, certificate of incorporation, we have the PIN-cert, we have the Curator compliance certificate. So once we have all this, we can click the add button, which will now add them to that particular tender that we are compiling. So just remember in the back of your mind that we are compiling 3 documents at the same time. And all of them, we can be able to customize what documents will be included in them. So we have the certificate of incorporation, and the system tells us that it is okay, it has not expired, and it is not missing. We go to the text compliance, the same. AGPO youth, the same. We have PIN-cert, the same. And then when we come to business permit, you can now see that it is expired, which is an additional capability of the system that allows you to identify errors where you might have mistakes and you can rectify them before you proceed. So to rectify this, I'd maybe just go there and then I pick up a new document as well as the new issue date so that the system can see that it is okay. But for now, for the purposes of the demonstration, let's just leave it as this and we can see how the system will react and remind us about the expired documents. So for example, if you were to add the document that I don't have on my company that I've onboarded, the system will be able to tell me to upload that particular document so that it can be included in this qualification. So next we go to the personnel segment of this. So assuming that the pre-qualification has a requirement to include the key personnel of the company, you can be able to include their CVs using our system. And you can just easily choose the position that you want to include, and then the system will give you a provision for it so that you can be able to add. So we'll add the administrator, we'll add the CEO, we'll add maybe a director general and a director just for demonstration purposes. So this can be anything depending on what the tender is requested. Okay, so as we continue, let me just so I'm hoping we're still on the same page. So as we were saying, we were adding the resumes for the people involved. So these resumes will be able to be captured during the onboarding process. So whether you choose to do the self-onboarding or the assisted onboarding, where someone at Bunisha can help you convert your company's profile into the digital format so that the personnel that you have on that particular profile will reflect on this dropdown. So once I click this dropdown, it will show me this person's qualifications. So for example, if I want someone with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, I can see that Jane Doe, for example, has that, and I can be able to add them for that particular position of administrator. And then if you go to the next position of director, we remember Jane Doe was one of the directors, I can add them. So the system, what it's doing in the background is it's adding that a personnel's resume to the documents that we are compiling. And whenever you're adding positions, you can choose where these positions apply. So for example, for this, we can say that, let's just remove a few. Yes, let's remove that and remove the second position. So you can also be able to take away positions. So whenever you're choosing requirements, you can choose which ones they apply to. So maybe the requirement that I'm about to add next only applies to one document. I can be able to go to the dropdown and say I need a foreman, but it's only for this foodstuffs category, and the system will be able to remember that when it is compiling the document. So that I'm adding the requirement for this foreman, but it is only for that particular category. So the system is able to come up with all this. And then next we go to the logbooks section, which is we've broken down the sections of equipment into two, where we have equipments that can be shown in terms of logbooks and some that can be shown in terms of receipts. So the logbooks will also include things like when you're compiling your document, you might include the lease agreements for your equipment. All that can be captured within this section. So we'll just pick what equipment. For example, we can say we need a final for the purposes of prequalification. It's not necessary, but just to show that the system has the capability, we'll just be able to add that. So we can say we want a tipper, we want concrete mixer, and then once we add them, we are able to pick them from whatever log equipment we have onboarded onto the system. So, and then the system is also able to tell you how many marks you'll be able to chart on this particular step, so that you make sure you're compliant with the tenders requirements. So once you're done with that segment, you go next to the second step, which is receipts, still under equipment, and then you can choose to add receipts of whatever item that the tender has requested for. So if you're in the construction industry, things like a rock drill, a sprayer, a total station, a water pump, all that can be added in terms of this. So you can be able to pick whatever is matching that on your profile. Then next we go to the experience section of the bid. The experience section can be identified in a number of ways. We have some that are that can be indicated in terms of award letters, completion certificates, and some that can be included in terms of LPOs, LSOs, and that will be the case when we are looking at pre-qualifications. So for this instance, we have the sample company limited, which we said did the routine maintenance of a particular road. The organization that it did for was Kenya Band Roads Authority, and then the amount or the total tender sum was 20 million. So when you want to include this into your particular document that you're compiling, you just say, yes, I want to include it. And then what category does it fall under? Is it completed, general, ongoing, specific, which is a separator that will be included in that document. So by doing this, the system will add it onto the documents that we are compiling as part of the experience. And next we go to the financials bit. The financials will be comprised of things like the audited accounts, bank recommendation letter, bank statements, cash flow statement, cash flow forecast, and credit line notes from the bank. So we can be able to add all this into our process. So for example, let me add 2 audited accounts, 1 bank recommendation letter, and so on and so forth, depending on what that particular tender is requesting. So once we add them, they'll be shown here, and then the system will tell us what we have, and if we don't have, it will give us the provision for adding the document. So let me also add the 2017 one so that we can see a difference between something that exists and something that's not available. So you can see the 2017 one is available, and that's where the system tells us to either view or upload that particular document. But in the other cases, it tells us to upload. So if I have this document already scanned on my computer, it is as easy as going to that particular document and adding it to this particular process. So once I say that and say upload, you can see the system will upload it to the platform so that even next time when you're compiling your bid, it knows that for this particular company, we have a bank statement. Then next we go to the add-ons. So the add-ons will serve to capture all documents that are not within the requirements segment, but you feel that are necessary to the process. So things like a bid bond, for example, you can be able to upload it directly onto the platform. So let me just add something to this. So if we look at the bids, we can pick a sample bid bond from here. A moment as I pick a sample bid bond. So that is a sample bid bond, and by saying upload, you can see that the system is able to include it into the document that we have. And then next we have the summary, and the summary will serve the purpose of reviewing whatever we have done. So you remember we are compiling 3 documents. So whatever this system is giving us is a preview or a checklist to make sure that you don't have errors within the process as you compile. So we have the supply of foodstuffs, and we have the printing services, and all these are documents that the system will generate. So at the end of this process, the system will be able to give us 3 documents. So we can view this, and we can see it tells us that the business permit that we provided has expired. The office lease agreement was not provided. And then we have the concrete mixer, at least one, but we were not able to provide all of this. So the system is able to tell us what we need to go back and upload. So you can see the experience that we chose to include, we have completed, and it is already there. When it comes to bank statements, it says that it's okay because we uploaded it. But when it comes to bank recommendation letter, it is not available. So it will do this for all the categories that follow. We have for the printing category, we have for the textile materials category, it will do that. And also it will include the information about that particular company. Once you're comfortable with all this, the next step will be now to finalize so that you can be able to compile the documents using the system. So you can do an ordering list. The ordering list will allow you to arrange the documents, and you can take the bid bond from being the last into being on top. So you can see the bid bond will be now the first document, and we are able to do all this within the process. So you can organize your document as to how you wish it to appear. And once you do that, you can be able to also review the documents that fall under those particular categories on each chapter. So with that, you can be able to now finalize and say finish. And what will be generated from that will be this kind of a document. So let's just look at the key elements of this particular document, and you see the key advantages of using our system to compile a bid as opposed to doing it manually. So number one, even you can see with us explaining the entire process, it has taken less than 20 minutes. So assuming that you're not explaining and just doing it on your own, this process can be as short as 10 minutes, as Dennis was saying, as Susan was saying within the introduction of this part. So we have the big one that has been attached because we said we want it as the first document. And you can see we have serialization as part of what the system can be able to do for you. So, and you can choose the formatting of the serialization that you want, and we also include the name of that particular company within the serialization or the footer of that particular page that we are adding. So we did the bid bond, then we include the tender document. So let's just go through the table of contents. We have the table of contents that has the tender document, and then finally we generate for you a comprehensive table of contents. So the table of contents will have all the documents that you're able to include within the process. So the mandatory documents, the director's details, the personnel that you are able to do for this particular bid, and then we have the plants and equipment, the experience, all that will be included within that particular process, so that this now becomes what you can use as a checklist to see if you're complied with all the requirements for that tender. Then we have automatically generated separators. So for each chapter that you do, the system will be able to provide for your separator. And if you're doing this in print, you can print this in a different color to indicate that you're entering a new chapter. So it will show you that you have the mandatory documents that have been placed. So this is how it will attach them. And you can see we still carry along the same details of serialization that we had. We look at the certificate of incorporation, we look at the CR12, the PIN certificate, and because it is a digitally compiled bid, you have all the documents here that are printed in color. We have the ALCO certificate, we have the affidavit, which the system is also able to add for you during the process. And this goes on and on up to the last documents that you are able to compile. So this is what you should expect from the system. And let me just highlight another thing, which is the CVs. So you can see what we have here as the CV of the personnel that we included. This has been system generated, and you have the ability to control how it will look by choosing the template. So on the last step, when we were compiling the document, we were able to see like the templates that we were choosing, and we chose the Cura template for compiling CVs. And out of that, we are able to get this format. So you'll always have a uniform format for all the personnel that you put in your tender. And this is an added benefit to you when you submit that particular document, because it will have uniformity. You have the person that you is bidding for this, the experience that they have, and then you can now be able to print, stamp, and sign this particular segment that the system has let you do, giving you the ability to do that. This is the experience. We look at the audited accounts, and that concludes the document. So from here on, I'd like to go to the next segment, which is introducing Dennis, who will take us through the technical side of this after I've done the demonstration. So Dennis, on to you. I'll be sharing the presentation in a few, so you can take over.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Alan, for the presentation. I think we'll go to the next step, whereby we'll be able to tell you the benefits of our system and how we can start the process. As we continue doing this, I'd like to request some of you members, most of them, all the members that are coming in, kindly you can on the chat, I think you can tell us which company you're representing, so that we'll be able to follow up with you and see how we can work together when it comes to pre-qualifications. So I'll start by telling you guys that this particular system, the intention is just to assist you in coming up with the documentation in an easy way, such that wherever they are, assuming there are many pre-qualifications that are ongoing, for you just need, once you've onboarded your company in our system, it's going to take you less than 5 minutes to do your documentation. At the same time, you'll be able to do your documentation from anywhere. You can do it from Java, you can do it from your phone, you can do it from anywhere. Once you've onboarded your company in the system, it is the easiest way of doing it. What happens is we will be putting, we're always putting tenders on our platform. We're always putting pre-qualifications on our platform, and we'll be able to notify you on which particular tenders or pre-qualification are out there. Once you get your pre-qualifications, you just click apply, and the whole process will take you less than 5 minutes. Upon finishing that, you'll be able to print your document, and then you'll be able now to fill it. And then once you fill it, or you can even send it if you're somewhere in a different place, you can send it to the office in an email. They print it, and then they can fill it, then drop it to their procuring entity. So the issue of going through the document without having issues is a thing of the past. If you can go to the next section. Once I'm done with this particular presentation, I'd like you guys to ask any questions that are there, and we see how we can tackle them. So the current process, when it comes to the current process, of course, you have to get the information from the different sources, but with our system, you only come to our website. We try as much as possible to bring all the tenders that are happening every day. We are always updating our documents every day. Are you okay? So, as you can see from what is in the screen, you're able to, all these things come to table of content. This is something that can help even, this can also help you when it comes to doing your own pre-evaluation, because it is system generated, and once you go through the table of contents, you're able to see what is missing. And of course, you realize this system can also be used. Today, we're talking about pre-qualification. This system can also be used to do any tender, whether it's a construction tender, whether it is supply tender. This system is able to do for you. And all of you, most of you who've been doing serialization, you realize that serialization takes time. With the system, once you've done all your documentation, the system is able to do serialization instantly. The next thing you need to know is with the many errors that are happening, the system is able to help you not make errors unless you decide to make error on your own. If you AGPO, most of the time you realize that going through the mistakes that people go through. For example, an AGPO certificate usually takes 2 years to expire. Some of us will not even know the AGPO certificate has expired. But this particular system is able to tell you that this particular certificate has expired, as you've seen in the system. Same thing applies to tax compliance. Some of us usually have a tendency of the tax compliance expired, and you present the document, then they tell you, oh, your tax compliance has expired. So before it is able even to notify you, like 5 days before, 3 days before, until when it expires. So with the onboarding of the system of your company in the platform, you'll be able to be notified in case there's any document that has expired. Then of course, based on the current system, we are now partnering with the different procuring entities. So when it comes to submission, you'll be able to submit your document whether manually, if the procuring entity wants it to be submitted manually, or digitally. Also at the same time, assuming you do it with the IFMIS, you can imagine you have first to print the documents, you have to fill the documents, you have to serialize, then you still have to scan the documents back to soft copy. Thereafter, you're supposed to send to IFMIS. With our system, you don't have to go all that process. So if the document is to be submitted digitally, you already have a soft copy, which is already even serialized in the, so you don't have to print any document, you just have to send it directly to your IFMIS account. So what are the benefits of onboarding? So we have 2 types of onboarding. The system is free for those ones who can do it on their own. And the system is, we have a big number of people who can help you. So the number 1 process, the benefit of being us helping you on the onboarding is, we'll ensure that all the documentations that you provide are up to par. So we ensure that you have all the documents that are required for a responsive document. These include all the mandatory documents. We'll also do for 3 personnel, 3 equipment, which is for a construction company. A lease agreement will also assist you to get a lease agreement from the Ministry of Works, or if you want it from a private company, we'll be able to tell you who to talk to, and then of course we'll see how to go about it. For all audited accounts, you can give us your accounts that you can also do, because we have a team of accountants. Then when it comes to CVs, you've seen Alan has been able to show you how the the system is able to generate your CVs. Sometimes different procuring entities have different samples. So depending on the sample that is there, our system has different samples. We have close to 12 samples of CVs. So depending on the procuring entity, we'll be able to provide you. Instead of someone sitting down and producing different CVs, the system will be able to do it. So once you put a personnel in the system can generate up to 12 different samples of CVs. Then of course, we have a team of people who've been doing tenders for some time. You can come for consultancy and you'll make sure that the document is responsive. This is more for the new people. Then of course, once you do onboarding in the system, we'll be able to give you 3 free pre-qualification compilation. We'll guarantee you compliance for the pre-qualification. We make sure that we go through the whole process. What are the requirements? What we can't guarantee you is you will be pre-qualified, because now that is for the procuring entities. But we will give you a document that is responsive, and then we'll be able even to store it in the system. In case they say this is the reason, you can refer to those reasons. And of course, when it comes to equipment, we'll be able to connect you to the Ministry of Works and you can get your equipment. And then of course, we can give you experience and personnel schedule, just showing what experience you've done and what are the personnels in your particular profile. I think at this section, I will want to ask if there's any question from the group, from the members, just ask a question, then we see how to go about it. But before we ask the question, there are 3 different, most of the questions that you usually ask. How safe are my documents on Bunisha platform? That's the first question. How do I submit my documents after compilation if the procuring entity requires a hard copy? I've already explained that. And the last part is how much will it cost me to cost? So these are the answers. Your documents are only be accessed through your account, which is secured by password only known to you. It's like having a Gmail account. Your Gmail, having an account with Bunisha is like having a Gmail account. And of course, when it comes to password, make sure that the passwords are not the year you were born or the name of your firstborn kid. You just make it at the use alphanumeric. You just need to use the alphanumeric characters, and then don't share your password to any person. Then question number 2 will be, how do I submit the document compilation if procuring entities require hard copy? I think at this juncture, I want to tell you guys that we've started partnering with procuring entities, but so that they'll be able to do the document digitally. We're also trying to work with the parastatal and private sectors so that they'll be able to do. So once you're in the system, it will be easier for you. However, currently you can print once you've done the compilation, you can print your document. Then, of course, fill the document, the confidential business questionnaire. Then, after which you can stamp and initialize all the pages. Then, after that, you can bind and submit to the procuring entity location. The last question that frequently asked question is, how much does it cost? So you can do this on your own, self-onboarding. You just come to our site, www.bunisha.com, and you have your account and you start the process. It's free. But if you want us to assist you, we'll give you someone who will be able to assist you. And this is 15,000. For compilation per category, it is the whole process is 1,750 if you're doing it on your own. But if you want us to help you, we can do it at 500. At this juncture, I think so. For today's, that's why we're asking you guys to send your company names. We'll be able to follow up with you. So for today's offer, we're going to give you an offer of 9,000, giving 40% discount. And I think from here we can, from 15,000, the current cost, we're giving a 9,000, so that you're able to make sure that all your documents are onboarded. Then when it comes to tendering, the better part of this particular system is once you have done a good onboarding, you can do any tender. You can do a tender for any particular procuring entity. And then of course you're able to customize. We're also going to give you customized tender notification for 1 month. We usually do notifications. People pay 9,000 per year. So we are going to give you 1 month. The beauty about it is if you're in a cleaning company, you'll be able to get all cleaning tenders. If you're in a security company, you'll be able to get it for free. Then we have our new e-paper, whereby you're able to a weekly e-paper. So for all those people who have come in, we'll be able to give you a free annual subscription for 1 year. So tomorrow you'll be able to get the first copy. And of course, for those ones who are here, if you want any consultancy, you can come to our offices, or you can give us a call. I'll share the numbers, which is these are the numbers. So you can get in touch. We'll be able to assist you and see how to go. So from here, I think I will open it to those who have any questions. We can ask. Kindly.
I will leave for a little moment.
If you're not asking any question, kindly just. Joshua, I can hear you. Kindly just ask your question. You kindly just ask your question. Joshua, I can't hear you. Joshua, hear you. Machuma, Machuma, please.
My question is,
yes,
if that's a subscription fee that's required each member to pay, is it for 1 year or a specified time? Can you be specific on that part?
I don't know if I got your question right, but I'll just talk about. Yes.
Okay. I'm asking that the amount you pay to be on board.
Okay.
That's for that specific period. I want you to specify on the period.
Onboarding
a subscription. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it a subscription for 1 year or a specific duration? Can you specify on that part, please?
So the onboarding fee is a one-time fee. Once you've been onboarded, you realize I said onboarding can be free, or we can help you onboard. So onboarding is for free, or if you pay us to assist you in onboarding, you just pay once. You don't pay it again. Once you pay it once, that's it. So after
for how long? Once you pay, you be a member.
No, it doesn't. Once you pay, it's one-off fee. It's something that you will not pay again. There's no subscription fee when it comes to onboarding. However, any time you're doing a tender, it will cost you $1,750.
So okay, it's okay. Let's say this is a fixed fee of 15,000. Yes, be on board, and then after that, if you are doing a specific tender, you have to pay that a particular amount. That is it. What? 17 something.
Let me just repeat. I didn't get it well, but as I was saying, the onboarding fee is just for us to assist you with putting all your documents together, and that part of us assisting you will pay $1,500. We'll be able even to advise you on what documents needs to be updated. But once you've done onboarding, when you do the tenders on your own, you just pay $1,750. However, if you want us still to be doing for you a tender, pre-qualification, will pay $2,500.
For per tender,
$1,750 per tender. Okay. I think the best way we can do is you can also ask your question on the chat so that I'll be able to read, so that we avoid because once you write I'll be able to see your questions on the chat and I'll be able to answer.
Another question is, you say you
Yes.
can deliver a document to maybe different entities, either maybe have applied for tender in a specific organization, and then you say you can verify, you can deliver that document. So do you judge for that the transportation cost?
So what we have a package. We assist people do their tenders. So when it comes to doing the tender, the part of the process will pay a certain amount, and then of course when it comes to submission, they usually have a fee for submission for tenders. If it is manually submission, if it is digital submission, if you partnered with any procuring entity, you don't charge anything for submission. Digital submission, you don't charge anything. If miss, you charge, you just do it for free. However, if it is something that is to be delivered manually, you can do it on your own, print it on your own. You can ask us to deliver it for you for a certain fee, depending on the location. Assuming, because we are based in Nairobi, assuming you want us to deliver a tender for you in Mombasa, it must attract a certain fee, assuming it is in Kakamega or wherever. If it is within Nairobi, it is 1,000. But it's out of Nairobi, it will be. We have a chart that shows specific areas with specific pricing.
So finally, my last question is, maybe do you do pricing for myself? Maybe bring my tender. Do you do the pricing of the full package?
Yes, we have a team of quantity surveyors who help contractors, suppliers when it comes to quotation. So if you're doing a roads, like right now we have Kenya roads that are Kenya job that has been advertised. If you want us to assist you, we can assist you in the quotation. But this is, we have to work together. You have to help us, tell us, I want my quotation to be like this. So we'll share with you the quotation, and once you approve, that's what you're going to put in the name. But we have qualified quantity surveyors.
So on the market survey, we have to partner on that.
We will assist you. We do the market survey, but you are the one to approve, because this is your business. We can put 20%, and you feel like you need to put 30%.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'll go to the questions. I've seen Joseph Kuya, who has asked kindly, is it possible to get this information on email? Yes, you can get this information on email. Just send us your email. We are going to share all these plus the minutes. Who else? I think Jamie Jared is asking, can Bunisha facilitate a copy of the document for one to submit hard copies as attached is needed? Kindly, Victor, kindly mute your speaker. I didn't get your question, but the next one. So there's Anne is asking us to take them through the self-onboarding process again. I think we will do that. We want to end the meeting now, and then the ones that didn't have questions, we can continue. So I think at this juncture, those ones who want to leave, they can leave, but I will go back to, we'll talk about those ones who want to learn more about onboarding. I think we'll again introduce the part of onboarding. Or they can give us, I think you can just share your number, and then we'll be able to do it now on individual basis. Or you can call us, and then we can organize for you can call us, and we can organize for a demo. Yes, please.
Yeah, this is Vincent.
Yes, Vincent.
Yeah, I must appreciate the presentation has been really good.
Thank you very much.
And the concern is also nice.
Yes, thank you.
Now, this is my question. In a case whereby the company have helped me to do a documentation of a tendering, and maybe it doesn't go through with the nature of Kenya we have, and maybe the country we live in, whereby you must know somebody to succeed somewhere.
Yes.
Is do the company do a strategy to make a follow-up, and maybe if somebody deserves something, a way of recovering?
Okay, I'll answer that. What happens is with our services, we usually go to all site tender opening. If you go to our site, you'll notice that something called tender results. I think we'll be able to share that. So we are able to do a follow-up upon you delivering the document or submitting the document. That's not the end. We ensure that we go to the whole process. So we go to all tender openings. Then thereafter, we are able to share with you all the tender results. For example, what you can see on your screen are some of the tenders that have been opened, and you can see this is a tender for NMS. So these are tenders that were just done the other day, and there were 97 tenders. So we were able to do results for all the 97 tenders with all the companies that attended there. And then right now I can tell you that evaluation is ongoing, after which we'll be able to know who was awarded. Then we still share tender results. If you go to our website, still you see we have a column for tender awards. So just see the screen, you'll see the tender awards. So we are able to see the tender awards. This is just for the tenders. When it comes to pre-qualification, you realize that once you drop your document, and this is a problem with all suppliers and contractors, you drop your document, then you wait until you wait for a letter. So most of the time, it never happens. So if you engage us, we'll be able to follow up for you. Once we drop the document, we'll follow up and see if this particular document was who was pre-qualified. Then upon even knowing who was pre-qualified in different categories, we'll even ask for quotations. Is it possible for our client to get quotations? Because some of the time, once you are pre-qualified, they only send quotation to very few individuals. So once you engage us, we'll be able to follow up for you from the time you submit your document to if you are pre-qualified. If you're not pre-qualified, we'll be able to get you a letter telling you, yes, this is the reason as to why you didn't get, so that when it comes to the next tender or the next pre-qualification process, you're able to avoid the mistakes that made you have a reject letter. Okay. Another person asked about, do we help to get manufacturers authorization certificate? Yes, we do, but depending on also on what items you are getting. I'm sure there are some that are very complicated, which will not be able. In due time, we'll be able to get all, but we can assist you get manufacturers and then share with you. If you're okay with it, then we can continue with that. That includes even the flyers and the company profile of the person that you want to use their certificate. There's a person who's asking about he's in insurance industry. How can we team up together? We are actually, right now we are working with banks. You realize that we have, you realize that we are actually working with 2 banks when it comes to bid bonds. And some of the bid bonds that we are able to do is we are able to do with Family Bank, and you get your bid bond instantly. You just put the pricing, and it's you don't have to go to the bank again and ask for a bid bond. So we'll be able to do for you a bid bond. You can see, for example, in the screen, a bid bond of 200,000. You at 50 days is 2,500. Once you go through the whole process, this particular bid bond will be able to be generated. So if you have been onboarded in the system, you don't have to onboard yourself again. You see, for example, this particular first step, once you put your tender, once he puts, I think Alan will put just a tender number. Once you put the tender number, it will be able to bring all the tenders. And then once he puts the information will be inputted. Thereafter, you can go to the next step, whereby if you've onboarded your company in the system, you can be able to enjoy all other services. So the advantage of onboarding is not only for pre-qualification. You'll be able to do invoices and delivery notes and receipts. You'll be able to do the bid bonds and any other thing that we will be adding up. So the onboarding is not only for one part, but it's for many other services. As you remember from our first part, we said we are trying to automate all business process to a click. So for an insurance firm, if you want us to work together, yes, we can work together by one, coming up and partnering for contractors all risks. But at the same time, I'm sure insurances do a lot of tenders. We have a category for insurance tenders, so we'll be able to work with you. So I think you can give us a call and we'll be able to work on how we can work together. Another person is asking, can you share this presentation at info? Yes, we can. We'll share the information for at Lion Close Security. And I think this is a security company. We can also be able to assist you when it comes to compilation of standards that are regarding to security. Any other question? So what is the success rate of Bunisha when it comes to percentage and how many times have been successful? What happens is that we are able to, from our system, we are able to see, when you go to tender openings, we are able to see our clients. Number one, the success rate depends, number one, how you do your quotation. If you do your quotation right, then you'll be able to, we'll able to assist you sometimes, but depending on the client now, some clients will tell you, no, I want to quote like this. Sometimes they will also insist on their own way, but if you're able to follow through with us, we're able to guide you. We'll tell you if the engineer's estimate is this amount, don't go below this amount. Some people will want to just stick to the engineer's estimates. Others will want to go very low, which might also be an issue when it comes to doing the job. You might not even be able to do the job. So depending on how you do your quotation. So the number one part is how low can you go? Then once the tenders are open, depending on what I can just guarantee you is we make sure that your document is responsive. For pre-qualification, I can tell you it's almost the best. If you're using our system, the success rate is up to 97%. For tenders, I will not give a percentage. Now that depends on how you mobilize yourself. But for pre-qualification, I can tell you it's up to 97%. It's not, once you use the system, it is very hard to miss out on being pre-qualified. The only part that will make you not pre-qualified, if you now provide expired documents, that one you definitely be out. But the system will be able to tell you this is an expired document, kindly change it. But if you don't change it, then that is now where you'll not be able to be qualified. So we talked about, someone is asking about site visits for cleaning. We have a service that we do site visit on behalf of our clients. Then you're able even to take photos and give a report on that. After which we'll be able to give you, advise you based on this particular site visit, what we think is the best rate, because there are places that the rates might be higher, other places the rate might be lower, depending on how availability of the material and equipment and mobilization. So we'll be able to advise you on that. Any other question?
Hello, hi.
Hello, Esther.
Yes, this is Esther from TNL.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm really grateful to be here this morning.
Thank you, Esther.
Now, my question is,
yes,
when you update your website with the tenders and the likes,
yes,
and supposing I'm not aware of any updates, are you able to apply them for me on my behalf, then notify me later? Because sometimes I'd had a problem before. I submitted a tender after the delivery date.
yes.
Because I didn't know. Can you do this automatically, then notify me later? Because when I give you my information,
Yes,
I know you can do the tendering on my behalf. Can this happen?
Yes, that is what will happen. Most of our clients, that is what we are doing for them. Number one, some of the clients don't even know that the tenders have been advertised. We tell them there's this tender. On a weekly basis, they tell us, yes, try this. In a day, in a week, we can give you up to 10, 15 tenders. So once you tell us, I want this tender to be done, we will do for you the whole process until we deliver, we submit it to the procuring entity. Thereafter, we are going to give you the tender results. So it is now for you now to do the follow-up and mobilization. How you do it, we don't know, but we will make sure that we do for you the whole part up to submission. So it is you now to follow up on how. So every week you can say, I need 3 or 4 tenders to be done. We can be doing for you 3 to 4 tenders, and we'll be sharing with you all the procuring entities. The other way is you tell us, in case you see tenders from Kengen, in case you see tenders from Kura or KPA or whatever, you just give us a list of all your procuring entities that you think you want. Then anytime we see it, we'll be able to tell you this tender is out. Can you, would you want to do it? If you say yes, we do the whole process, and then we'll just give you the results. And then, of course, with that, we can also share with you the document, soft copy. You'll be able to see if there are any changes you want to be done. Yes, we'll change. So initially, when you're starting, we have to share, we have to work together because there's a way you want your document to look like. Then once we've known it, after 2 or 3 tenders, we'll be able to understand, then we'll be able now.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Any other question? I can see some questions here. Someone said we separate for notification, but you're not yet. I think what we can do right now is let's show, I think Alan will be able to show us how we have a new notification system, which I've just launched. I think we'll be able to get, you can get the notification. This is an email, but however, I think Alan can just demonstrate it, how you can do it on your own. You don't have even to come to our site. You don't have even to ask us to do for you. Alan can just demonstrate the notification part so that you just get your notification. Alan?
Okay, thanks, Dennis. Let me just share my screen again so that we can be able to follow along the process. So this is what we envision that the user can do when it comes to notifications. Let's just follow along, and we can be able to understand how you can build your customized notification on our platform. So you come to this page, which you'll be able to demonstrate how you can access it. And then you select what you're interested in. So for this example, pre-qualifications. And then once you do that, you can pick from the categories that the services which qualifications fall under, that being the services, goods, consultancy, or works. So after you've done that, you can click on any of those categories. So once you're clicking on that category, you can pick whether you're interested in food and beverages, so that whenever there's a food and beverage tender, you're notified of. Or if you're interested in laptops, you're also able to see those categories on your email. And then next, you look at the works category. I'm hoping you're all together. So you look at the what category and what falls under there. So you can choose to be notified about mechanical engineering works. You can choose to be notified about roads, building works, so on and so forth. And then next, you're also able to choose what particular organization, like Dennis was saying before. So if your interest is in bank, you can choose what banks fall under, or what banks you're interested in bidding for. So for example, you want to be pre-qualified with ABSA, but you don't necessarily know when they will advertise. You can subscribe with us so that when ABSA has their advertisements, you can be able to receive that on email, and then you can be able to compile your bid. So you can do this for all the categories that are there. And then you can choose to see reserved or open tenders. So you can choose to customize based on your interest. So if you have an AG for youth or AG for women or AG for PWD certificate, you can choose to have that particular category be notified for you whenever there's a tender or pre-qualification that falls under that. And then finally, you pick the pricing and the duration that you wish to be receiving that for. So we have packages from 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and even up to a full year, where you can see the more you pick, the more discounted you are per rate. And this is now paid on a subscription basis, so that once you subscribe to this particular service, you'll now be receiving an example like what I'm showing on the screen, the opening results, because on my customized journey, I was able to say that I'm interested in tender openings. And from that, I'm able to be notified that on 9th of June at 10 a.m., we have this particular tender being opened and for ABC, AFC Development House. So you can do all that on our system. So you can see this is a Kenya Power tender for procurement of laptop computers. This is the tender number. So if you participated in that, the system will remind you that on the 9th of June, the system was supposed to be dropped at 10 a.m. And this usually happens on a weekly basis. So this was sent a day before, so that you can now be able to plan your day ahead. So over to you, Dennis. I think with the demo.
Thank you. There's another question that was asking, what if I'm doing a tender and Bunisha is also doing a tender and the prices are competing? I can tell you that we don't do tenders as Bunisha. We don't do tenders as Bunisha. You'll never see us anywhere doing for tenders. We only assist people to do tenders. So Number two, you also will be having a separate person. We give you a key account holder that will be dealing with your tenders. So once you get your key account holder, I think you'll be able to work one-on-one. This is something that is like you're able to work with each other instead of, because we don't, we have a big team of people. So whatever you are doing with someone is different from what other companies doing. So we try as much as possible to people to do tenders. You deal with your own key account holder. Is there any question? Just going to type out the numbers for, if you have more queries, I think you can you call us on 0704 003 003. I think, Alan, you can share the contact details because we are just about to finish it. So I think I want by just giving you the contact details, I think we can continue. We'll be having these particular meetings on Wednesdays and Thursdays. In case you have any person you want to refer to us, we really appreciate. We're going to give you from this particular meeting, we'll be able to share with you even referral. If you're able to refer 3 people, you'll be able to get the paying. We'll be able to give you a package so that you're able to get it. So I think we'll continue sharing with you guys. These are the details. In case of any information, you can send it to us. I think with those few remarks, I want to call it a meeting. I think one of us can pray so that we call it a meeting. We'll have another meeting on Wednesday and also on Thursday. Can one of us kindly pray for us?
Okay, let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you for this opportunity of learning that you gave unto us. Thank you for presentations that have been made. And thank you for the new understanding that we have received. And we just commit every process into your hands, even the participants of this meeting today. And we ask that, Father, you even continue making way for us and giving us favor and wisdom on how to go about our businesses. We thank you and we bless you. In Jesus'
Amen. So I think, amen.
name I pray.
Amen. I think from here we can call it a meeting. And, thank you very much for attending the meeting.